Hey, good morning. Hopefully you had a good weekend. I'm glad you're watching the video today because today is a very, very challenging day. And I can show you a method that I was taught to make factoring a little bit easier. I really, really encourage you to watch and practice this. It's a little bit continuation of what I showed you last week on factoring with the big X, and it works, but we just have to tweak it a little bit. Okay. You people that are out on COVID, just kind of keep your practice sheets and your study guides, and when you get back, turn those guys in. But keep up because we're moving at a pretty fast pace now, and it's not like I can kind of catch you up in several seconds. It takes practice and watching these videos. Okay. All right. So pause your video, do this warm up, and let's see how you do. Okay, welcome back. So again, if you remember, a polynomial with three terms is a trinomial. And then there's my X method that I really like to use rather than the guess and check. Some kids are really good at guessing and checking, but today you're going to see that makes it a lot more challenging to do guessing and checking. Right now, our coefficients out here are all, most of the time, -1. And so that makes our life tremendously easier when that's a 1 out there. All right, so hopefully you got those. We're going to do a whole lot of FOIL practice today, so hopefully we're getting really good at that becomes just natural. All right. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at numbers that are something more than a 1 out here in the x squared. So this is where things get a little bit complicated, especially if you're guessing and checking, because I can get 6, and this is considered somewhat easy still. There's only two ways I can get 6, 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. But I can move that 2 and 3 in different positions because I have a 2 and a 5 down here for my 10. And I could do 5 and a 2, a 2 and a 5, a 10 and a 1. And when we multiply these guys all together in different combinations, you'll see that it affects my x's in the middle. So what I'd like for you to do is just kind of do the guessing and checking what you think it is, because several ways I can get 4 is 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. And then there's several ways I can get 15. Again, this is kind of a simple one, so maybe 15 I can do 5 and 3, 15 and 1. So do some guessing and checking until you get it. Now you're going to have to do some practice on your FOIL here, so I cut it apart for you. So let's just say we try 4 and 1, and I don't know, what do you want to do, 15 and 1? So underneath here, I have enough room that you can do FOIL real quick to just see if you're coming out okay. Plus 4x plus 15x. I can already see I got 19 x's there, so that one's not going to work. So, but watch what happens if I flip-flop the 15. I want to keep the 4 in the same place and the 1 here, but now I'm going to do 1 and 15 here. So I got 4x squared like I needed, but now I got 30 x's and 1x in the middle, and that's going to be 31 x's. So I can just stop right there because I want 16 x's. All right, so let's try 2 and 2 because that would give me 4, and let's try 15 and 1. See what happens. 4x squared plus 2x plus 30 x's. I can stop there because already I got 30 x's. What if I did it the other way around? I said 2 and 2, and then I said 1 and 15 here. See how that goes. 4x squared plus 30 x's. Good morning. Plus 2 more x's. Still the same thing, huh? So that must mean it has to be a change. What do you want to do? The 2 and 2. Let's do 2 and 2. And let's do 3 and 5, because that would give me 15. That's 4x squared plus 10x plus 6x. There's 16 x's plus 15. So there's 16 x's. Now you might have guessed right off the bat there and got lucky that you broke it up 2 and 2, because 2 and 2 is nice because they're both the same. So it didn't really impact my x's when I flipped the 3 and the 5. All right. So let's see how good you are guessing and checking. Go ahead and do these three here and until you get an answer. Now you're going to have to do FOIL until you actually find your answer. Okay? All right, we'll see how you did. Here's what I got. 3x plus 1 times 2x plus 3 for the first one. Again, you can kind of flip that and say 2x plus 3 and 3x plus 1. My second one over there was a 3x plus 4 and an x minus 2. Now we had double negatives and, second and the third term there, we had double or negative and a negative. So that kind of impacts your answer, especially when you're guessing and checking as well. Most kids, it takes a while for them to kind of get that. Hardly ever do they get it on the first guess. So I'm going to show you a way, if you wish, that we can get it on the first guess all the time. Okay, rather than guessing and checking. Now, follow along here. This is going to take a couple times of practice before you can actually do it. We're still going to do the X method here, but take some good notes here. Still going to have the times on the top, plus on the bottom, but rather than putting 12 up there, because I have a 2 here, I'm going to multiply these two. 2 times 12 is 24. And so that goes on the top. Okay, so we're going to multiply those two. Now this 11 is still going to go down on the bottom here. So now I want two numbers that multiply to 24 but add up to 11. All right. So two numbers should be, let's see, 8 and 3 would do it. Okay. So that would add up to 11. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. Now I'm just going to bring this guy straight down. 2x squared. I want to put one of this 3x's. I'm going to say plus 3x's. And I'm going to say plus 8x's. And then I'm going to bring that 12 straight down. So this guy goes right there with some x's. This guy goes right there with some x's. Now what I did is I still got 11 x's if you look here. 8x's plus 3x's still equals 11 x's, what I had up there. So I didn't change my formula at all or my equation. And now, for lack of a better word, I put a squiggly line right down the middle. Now it has to go for the third term sign there, the plus 8x. The line has to go for it. Okay? Now, last step here, well, not last step, second to last step is I'm looking at just my first half here. What can I factor out of 2x squared plus 3x? Can't factor anything out of the 2 and the 3. All I can factor out is an x. So what's left to get back to this? I get a 2x because that would give me 2x squared plus 3. Now I copy this twice. Don't have to draw that arrow. I'm just showing in your notes where this goes for your notes. I copy that automatically. This and this has to be the same. Okay. Now I'm focusing on my second half up here. What times 2x will get me back to 8? A 4 will. Then I check. Does 4 times 3 equal 12? 12 is what I needed. Okay. So now last step. I'm going to put these two guys into a set of parentheses. And I'm just going to bring down one of those. Now that sounds like a lot of work. And it is. I won't lie to you. But it's way better than guessing and checking. Let's check our work. We got 2x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 12. So now I got 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. That's what I started out with. So that is my answer. Once we do this enough times, we'll be really confident with our work that we won't have to check it. Okay, but for a while I want to check. So here we go again with the steps. I want to take this times this for my big X. Put a times on the top, plus on the bottom. 5 times 8 is 40. I want to put a minus 14 down here. So now I need two numbers that have multiplied to 40, but add up to 14. So let's see. 10 times 4 would do it. If they're both negative, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So, again, this guy comes straight down. 5x squared minus 10x's minus 4x's And then this guy comes straight down, plus 8. Now again, I still have 14 x's, just like my middle term up there. Squiggly line down, the middle. See what I can factor out of the first half here. I can take out a 5 and I can take out an x. Because 5 goes into 5 and 5 goes into 10. Now I have an x minus 2. Yep, that'll give me minus 10x. So automatically I'm going to write x minus 2 over here. I'm looking for my factor out here that would multiply times x to get back to negative 4x. And that would be a minus 4. Then I check over here. Is negative 4 times negative 2 what I needed up here? Yep, gives me a positive 8. So I'm on a good trail here. So that gives me 5x minus 4, put those in parentheses, and then just bring down one of those x minus 2's or one of those factors that match. Let's check real quick. 5x squared minus 10x minus 4x plus 8. 5x squared plus 14x plus 8. Yep. Oh, wait. Minus 14. We had two minuses there. I wasn't multiplying. I just looked up there and saw that I have 5x squared here, but a minus 10 and a minus 4 is a minus 14. X is like I need plus 8. But I did factor it right. Just didn't multiply to check right. Okay, do some practice here. We're going to do this on the boards up here. Okay. Here's my work. Again, do the practice. Just don't copy my answers down. You got to train your brain to go through all these steps and practice. Okay. Not only do you get faster, but you get more accurate at it. All right. Well, the nice thing about this is when the last term is negative, this x method still works. Let's do it. Okay. So again, I'm going to take this times this, and that's going to be a minus 8. That's going to be on my top. My bottom's going to still be a plus 7. 8 and 1 would do it, but I need positive 7 down here. One of these has to be a negative because that's the only way I can get a negative up here. So I'm going to do 8 and 1. So again, we bring the 4y squared straight down, plus 8y's minus 1y minus 2. Now again, I check mentally up here. Do I still have the same thing as up there? And I do. 1y, minus 1y and a plus 8y is still 7y's. All right, wiggly line down the middle. I can take out a 4y. I get a y plus 2. I'm going to put a y plus 2 over here. And thinking, what times y would give me a minus 1y? A minus 1 would do it. And is minus 1 times 2 a minus 2? It sure is. 4y minus 1, y plus 2. Let's check real quick. 4y squared plus 8y's minus 1y minus 2. 4y squared. Is that what I had up there? It sure is. So it works. All right, let's try it again over here. You have a lot of practice to make it. You have a minus 20 and a plus 19. So 20 times 2, or 20 times 1 would do it. Sometimes we forget the 1. I need it to be a positive 19, so that means that 1 has to be a negative. Now that minus 5 comes straight down. I don't know if I drew that arrow. It doesn't look like I did it over here. Okay, squiggly line down the middle. I can factor out a 4 and an x. And I got an x plus 5. Factor that over here, x plus 5. And a minus 1 would give me a minus 1x, and a minus times a positive is minus 5. So I like it. I'm thinking that is my final answer on factor. Let's check quick. Yep, it works. All right. And one more time before we practice. Again, I don't know, my X. Yep, it will. Good. That's going to be a minus 30. Now make sure you put the sign, because positive times negative is a negative. And they have to add up to a minus 7. That's a plus sign. So now, what do I got? Two numbers that multiply to 30 but add up to 7. A 10 and a 3 would do it. But now, which one needs to be negative? There we go. I like it. 2x squared minus 10x plus 3x's minus 15. Squiggly line down the middle. Factor out a 2x out of both of those. I have an x minus 5. X minus 5. If I put a 3 out here, that would give me 3 x's, and 3 times that is negative 15. So I got 2x plus 3, x minus 5. Yep, checks. So next, all right, you give it a shot on these two. So pause your video, do those two, and then let's see how you did. Okay, for the first one, I got a 3x minus 1, 2x plus 3. The second one, I got a 4n plus 3 and an n minus 1. So again, I was so happy when this Joe showed me this in college, because guessing and checking, this was a very frustrating paper I can remember in junior high and high school. All right, now last thing that we want to talk about is when my first factor is a negative. With that, if it's in standard form and that first one's a negative, to make your life simple, you always want to factor out a -1. So all that does is changes the signs of everything inside the parentheses. Okay, so that's still one part of our answer. And then we're going to do the same thing that we've just been doing. Okay, except for I'm factoring this now. So I want to take 2 times 7, which is 14, and I want to have a 15 in the middle. Two numbers that multiply to 14 but add up to 15. Well, that's an easy one. 14 and 1. Line down the middle. I can factor 2x out. That gives me an x plus 7. And I do a 1. So now I got 2x plus 1 and an x plus 7. Now again, don't forget to bring that -1 down. A lot of you on your quiz didn't bring that number that you factored out down. And on those last couple problems there, and so I wrote you a note. That's still part of the problem. So make sure you bring it down. Okay? All right. Give these two a try, and I think that's it for the day. Even though they're all negatives all the way across, my first factor's a negative. So you always want to factor out a -1 out of that bad boy. Again, that gives us 6x squared. All you do is change the signs on everything that's inside the problem there, 12. And this is now what we want to factor. All right, give it a shot. Do those two, pause your video, and then come on back. All right, let's see how you did. I got a -1 and a 3x plus 4, or 2x plus 3. You can see that it's reversed down here when I typed up the answer. And that's okay. Don't worry about it. The same thing, okay? Factored out a -1, and my final answer is 3x plus 2 and an x plus 5. So that x method really continues to work. All right, I'm really interested on a couple of my kids because they're just being smart Alex, so to speak, and they are. They're good at guessing and checking, but I think today is really going to throw them for a little loop. Okay, I tried to give you a workspace on your work here to do your work right there, but if you can't do your work, then do it on another piece of paper and just staple it to it. Okay, all right. So with that, that's pretty much it for factoring. Tomorrow we'll just have one more step, or I guess Wednesday, of looking all the way across. Is there a number that can be factored out first before we go into factoring? And then we're kind of done with factoring. So we're coming up on a test here pretty quick on polynomials, naming, classifying, putting in standard form, factoring. Okay. All right. Have a good day. Hope you are feeling better. Hopefully that COVID stuff, you people that have it, I'm interested in talking to you because I want to kind of know what some of the symptoms are. All right. Anyhow, you just saw some of the answers. So if you wanted to check after you did a couple of the problems, you can come to this video or pause this video and then check some of your answers. But again, do the work getting there. All right. All right. Have a good day.